Welcome to the Tuneagers podcast. I am here today, your host, Amy Bobrick, and with me is Peggy Webb from West River Academy. So, first off, Peggy, if you could briefly tell us what is West River Academy and what do you do there?
We are an accredited international K through 12 private school. Our little sentence here is freedom starts here, turning life experiences into academic credit. So to put that in very simple terms, if you are not in a traditional school, then you can enroll with us and actually be enrolled in a private school. You can get your diploma and your transcript at the end, and you can send that to a college if you're interested, and you can apply as a private school student. So we like to say that you come into our little bubble, you have complete freedom to learn how, when, where you would like. We simply support you, the family, the learner, the teens, to find what your niche is, to do what you feel is appropriate for your life experience, and then you do it.
Your keyword here is freedom. And the way that Tuneagers is structured is 12 to 17-year-old teens can come to this community with weekly sessions. There is no set curriculum. People bring what they're working on, and they come into music and songwriting from many different angles. How do you explain it to parents, the potential that those models have for their learners to thrive? Because that can seem really scary to people, that there's not a set curriculum, that there's not a brick and mortar. What conversations do you have with parents?
That's a great question. And it is the scariest part of leaving a system. When you leave the system of education, it's scary because you've been told your whole life learning looks like this. And if you don't do it this way, you're going to fail. Your kids are going to fail. It's going to be your fault as a parent. So we're not trying to move people from complete, structured curriculum to complete unstructured. That's a 180-degree turn. That's too hard for anybody to make. We have to take baby steps. So I always encourage families to sit down together and brainstorm. Set a timer, ask the question, if you had all the money in the world, you can be anywhere in the world doing anything, what would that be? And give yourself 3 minutes, and every member of the family answers the question. Then you start to talk about it, and maybe parents are going to find out things they never knew about their kids. Maybe kids are going to find out what their parents' dreams were that they still haven't even touched yet because they're too busy in the rat race. And then you start to say, well, okay, how would we want to structure our days since you're not in school? What do you want to do? Do you up early or late? What's your biorhythm? Do you want to start by cooking breakfast or running? How do you want your day to go? And then you can discuss your daily schedule, and maybe have a contract. Say, yep, we agree to this for 30 days. Then at the end of 30 days, you take a look at it and say, well, what just happened? And what did we like? And what didn't we like? And how do we want to change it? A lot of the imposed structure of the system can be lifted gradually as teenagers find more interesting things to do. Parents feel more relaxed because the kids are involved in things that are constructive and helpful, and they see the kids growing personally as well as, all around. Like, education is not just, can you get good grades in subjects, but what is your personal development looking like? Are you feeling better? Are you feeling more confident? Are you feeling happier about yourself? All of these things are way more important than what grade did you get on the test. And that is it's a period of evolution. The whole thing is a family experiment. So just enjoy the process.
I'm always interested in the creative process, specifically with teenagers making music and writing songs. How is the process of unschooling, world schooling, and homeschooling? How does that nurture creativity?
Humans are born curious. We are naturally creative beings. So you are already curious, and the system has squelched that. When you're in kindergarten, the teacher may say, let's draw. No, you have to draw this. Oh, no, bananas are not purple, they're yellow. And you start having to color between the lines instead of coloring the way you want to, or maybe not coloring at all. So it's nurturing creativity is removing the things which are imposing themselves on you to stop that creative flow. Einstein was quoted as saying that you can stop a grazing animal from grazing through force feeding. So when you remove the coercion and you turn that learning responsibility back to the child, well, first to the family, but then gradually to the child to make more and more decisions on their own, by the time they're teenagers, they are already developing their creativity. I would say that the creativity is inherent and it just needs to be released. And we can nurture that by helping our children feel confident and feel secure in their own human beingness. Like, you can do this. Why not? Let's remove all those restrictions.
I have a child, they're in teenagers, they come to you, they want to pursue a music career at a university. How do you package and write and tie it up so that it relates to the rest of the world when they're applying?
What comes to mind is an example of a student that we currently have who has been with us since she was 7 years old. Now she's graduating and she started to sing. She took lessons. Then she started to pursue that because she loved it. And now she's singing, and she is now at the point where she is trying to find the next best step for her. Where will she go to university? Will she go to a music school? Will she audition? She happens to be in Romania. So what are her options there? We did not prepare her for any of this as a school. We supported her and her family through the years to discover, to create.
If you have a student like this one in Romania, and she's taking private music lessons, and she's in a program perhaps like Tuneagers, and she comes to you and she's ready to graduate, what is the logistical thing that happens at that point? You see what she's done, and then how do you translate that into a transcript or diploma?
Well, we have one requirement to graduate, and that is a project. We want you to tell us about yourself, tell us about your educational journey, either by writing an educational biography or by expressing yourself through a custom project, which would have to be detailed out and approved by us, and then you present it. So that's one thing. And then the other thing for the transcript is we have now completed and deployed what we consider a transcript wizard or a transcript builder. We're taking life experiences and then we're categorizing them into subject areas like, language arts, history, math, science, physical education, art, music, technology. And that's what the transcript will then look like. So we do have a standard, you might say, requirement for the transcript in terms of how it is going to be finalized and presented to a university, because ultimately the only purpose of a transcript is for university admissions or college admissions. Nobody else cares. They want to know if you had a diploma, but they rarely ask to see a transcript. So it's specifically for academia. You self-grade, and we help you to assign credits based on what would be the acceptable number of credits. It's not a tedious work. It's basically a summary. Learning has taken place your entire life. Now we're putting all of that into a 4-year high school transcript. So all that you learn can be included under the overall banner of a subject name. Then you subjectively will give it a grade and will help you choose the right amount of credits. So you end up with approximately 25 credits at the end of 4 years. And we work with you on that transcript. We give you the template, we give you a tutorial to teach you how to do it. By the end, you will have a complete 4-year transcript that can be presented to a college.
So now I start to understand your logo with Freedom Starts Here, because it sounds like the learner chooses the path in which they can learn best, whether that be through formal music lessons or whether it be through a community of project-based learning like Tuneagers, or whether it be self-taught. Anybody from any one of those angles can come to you and you can help package it, and it'll make sense when they pursue the next step. do you have other examples of learners that you've worked with over the years that have excelled specifically in music?
We have a student that's graduating this year, and he's producing music, like making his own music in like a recording studio. And he's been doing this for years. And his father called me recently and said, "We are so thankful for West River because he could never have done and accomplished so much in his chosen field had he been tied up with 8 hours of school every day." Everything happens along the way. So even though you might say, "Well, all I've been doing is playing music," well, but you're writing, and that's English, and you're communicating, and that's English, and you're expressing yourself, and you're in a way you're selling yourself as a musician. All of that comes into communication skills, and a lot of musicians look at their statements on the political scene or history, and so they have to do some research into that area to write their lyrics. I think that everything that gets onto a transcript is going to come from an integrated, holistic experience. And the same thing with music. You can devote yourself to music, but it spans all the other disciplines.
I thrive to have the Tuneagers Club and community be like a super fun playground and serve as a facilitator and ambassador for what they want to discover in music. And my question to you is, how important is play? I don't mean play an instrument, but have the attitude and mindset of playing.
I think play is underrated. It's the way humans learn. The more we take play away from children, the less healthy they become. To me, it's spontaneity. When kids play, they don't sit down and design what they're going to play that day. They just do it, and they go from one activity to another, from one topic to another. They have fun. Enjoyment is the biggest component of it, because if you're not enjoying it, then why do it? It's all joy, and joy comes from play, and play is creative.
I think we'll end there on that lovely phrase, play is creativity. Thank you very much, Peggy Webb, for joining us. If you want to find out more about West River Academy and how to pursue education in a more untraditional route, reach out to Peggy Webb. You can find myself and our community of teenagers at tuneagers.com, where we play and explore music making and songwriting to express our voices. Thank you for listening today, and thank you so much for your time, Peggy.
Thank you very much, Amy. It's been a pleasure.